Hello. In today's discussion, we want to look about classroom management. How can teachers make their classroom stay focused as the learners get to learn, and also as they make it interesting? This is Tufunzeni Podcast, and I am your host, Roselyne. In this discussion, I am joined by Emmanuel and Anne. But as usual, I'll let them introduce themselves so that they can say all that they need to say. Let's go with ladies first.
Yes,
Anne.
sure.
Thank you. My name is Wachera Ndung'u. I am an educator. Currently, I support schools in digital literacy, especially the core competency of digital literacy, by working with Digital Education Africa Network, whereby we support schools with tablets, and we support the schools for 2 years by training the teachers and teaching them how to integrate ICT in the classroom. I'm also a writer and I'm also a digital marketer.
Wow.
Great. I am Emmanuel Kipchirchir, a teacher of English, literature, and educator as well. And I'm also very big on trauma-informed teaching and learning. And I know that plays a key role, especially when we're talking matters classroom management. I am a poet, a writer too, and I'm really looking forward to this session so that we can all have different views and how we are going to engage in different practices that will help the teachers out there, and including ourselves or myself, in managing the classroom, which is not very easy because the dynamics keep changing every other day. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel and Anne. I'm already excited so much to dive into this discussion with you. Now, classroom management is something that every teacher relates with, or it's relatable, because it's something that we experience every day in our classroom setup. But now let's just look at what an ideal classroom management looks like, and what can we do, or how can we create such a space from day one in our classrooms? Emmanuel.
Okay. Every classroom has an atmosphere that must be created for us to have, to feel safe, to feel known or noticed, and to feel, to have a sense of belonging. And this is important to the learners because at the end of the day, this is where they spend most of their time when they get to school, and looking at every other thing that happens in their lives. I feel that in a classroom setup, the teacher has, or the classroom teacher plays a key role in ensuring that this environment is conducive for learning, by looking at all the aspects around the learner that once put together are going to ensure that the learner is productive at the very top level, and they're able to build some levels of trust and collaboration amongst themselves. This way, we are creating a community that works together for the good of themselves and the entire class.
Let's hear from Anne.
I can say that every classroom is unique and the approach has to be very different. For me, I was blessed to work with learners who had just come from preschool, and therefore I got the amazing opportunity to set the pace for the classroom environment that was needed. This was achieved by working together with the parents, working together with the learners, working together with the school administration, having a very good rapport with all those people. With the learners, what I found what worked best is involving them in establishing the class roles. When you involve them, you have a seamless transition, whereby this helps you create a very positive classroom environment or a school environment where the learners feel safe, they're happy to come to school, they're happy to express themselves, and I'm happy to see some are still reaching out to me. Now they're grown people.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's good. Yeah, sure.
It's normally the best feeling
Yeah.
for a teacher when you see that somebody that you've mentored, you've touched their lives, and then they come back to you they don't fear, sometimes,
Mhm.
and they see you, they want to run away and hide.
Very
So
true.
that's really great, Anne and Emmanuel.
Mm.
But then, as we create, just as you've said, I think you've responded to what I was actually also looking for. Like, how do we then ensure that we create this safe space, but for learners? But you've mentioned things like working with the management, involve the parents, involve them in making the rules
The
and the
rules and
standard. You
norms.
set standards with them, so
Mhm.
that way, I believe they feel the ownership.
Yes.
Yeah, so they know that if I do these, then everyone else will be affected. So that ownership is there.
Mhm.
But then, even as we do, we put everything in place, we set all the standards from the beginning. Sometimes there are still other behaviors that can crop up along the way. So, how do you handle situations where there is a disruptive behavior in a class that is interfering or interrupting your session?
Hmm. I think most of the time we look at this from a wrong angle or perspective. We are quick to give, I don't want to use the word punishments, but to castigate the learner whenever they they do something wrong. We don't take time to really understand what causes them to act the way they are doing. And in most cases, you'll realize it crops up from a need from within that wants to be met. And a teacher should be able to understand or really know their learners, the learners, so that he's able to notice, or he or she is able to notice any slight change in behavior. And that way, you start now working backwards, because it is as a result of something probably that is happening in their lives back at home, or with their peers, and even within the social circles that they are in. So knowing the root cause is really important, and that really drives the entire discussion about the trauma, past trauma, because it contributes greatly to how we behave. We have built cultures out of, we try and label them. And we have from personality traits to family traits, and now it becomes a culture. And if as educators, we are not very keen to know, or rather predict, how our learners behave, then it is very difficult to exactly pinpoint where the problem is. Driving a conversation from creating a safe space in the classroom, you're able to now understand, because they're open. Once you have a good rapport with them, then they come to you, talk to you about their problems that they're going through. But most of the time, some of these learners lack the language to express themselves. Yeah. And as a language teacher myself, I really try and teach the language to express, because you might really know what you want to say, but how to say it becomes the problem. So then what structures are we putting in place to ensure that this learner, okay, they're in a safe space, but how can they communicate clearly what they're feeling and what they're going through? So I think the pattern or the behavior is really as a result of a need that is to be met. As a teacher, don't castigate the learner, but look for what is lacking and teach it. If the learner can't work with other learners, then probably they cannot collaborate with others. Then teach the skill of collaboration. If the learner cannot probably speak very politely to others, then there is the polite language that you can teach. So that way you're dealing with a particular skill. So they learn the language to express themselves, and that way you're able to understand where the behavior change is really originating from.
And on the polite words, that's why we also have a school as a community. We can also liaise with language teachers. There are the magic words.
Yeah,
So
sure.
that you tell them, please emphasize on the use of magic words, please, sorry, so that they get used to the system. Let's hear from Anne.
I can say here, Emmanuel has covered most of it.
Yeah.
That we need to get what is the root cause of this behavior. because sometimes it comes from home, and sometimes it's even the school, the community. For example, like I had a classroom where the boys were the majority and the girls were the minority. And in a normal classroom, the opposite is what should be. So what happened is that I had a discipline issue with these learners. I kept chasing the boys around, stopping fights. And I realized, someone pointed out to me, the reason you are struggling with discipline is because boys are more. So my only alternative was to call the parents to school, especially the fathers. And imagine that was the magic. The fight stopped. So sometimes it's just to understand the root cause. Sometimes it's not even the learner's fault. It's just something societal. And as Emmanuel has said, the best thing is for the teacher to model behavior.
So, Anne, when you call the fathers, I'm just curious to know, maybe to know. So just tell me how the discussion goes. Like, what do you discuss with them? Because it's the boys bringing disruptions. I've called the fathers. So I want to get the magic.
Yes. So I was very candid with the fathers. I told them I'm having an authority problem in this classroom, and it is nobody's fault. It's just that the boys are more, the girls are less. When the girls are more, it really helps in toning down the discipline. The teacher has an easy time, but in this case, it was the opposite. And we didn't have a chance of balancing the gender because it was a single stream. So I was very candid with the parents. I told them, the fathers, I told them, you really need to help me with authority. Emphasize with the learners that I'm an authority in this class. They have to listen to me. And that changed the whole trajectory of the discipline of these learners. They started seeing me as an authoritarian and seeing me as an authority in class that I have to be listened to. And that really changed the trajectory of the discipline of that class.
So it's important that we also involve parents in managing our classroom.
Yes.
Let's not just take it like we are now in the class and it's all about us as teachers. And also something that Emmanuel said, let's understand the root cause, because these learners are just trying to show us something that they feel we should know, but we've not yet known. You see, they feel like, why are you not noticing
You're not
that
noticing this.
something is happening to me, or something needs attention and you are ignoring. And so if we create such things, we can only see if we create that good relationship, teacher-student relationship, because we need to be their first friends. And now, sometimes, like you said, Emmanuel, let's also try to understand where they're coming from, what is the root cause of the problems. Now, how can we help me understand how we are going to do this? In a lesson, we have 40 minutes lesson. A child has misbehaved, and maybe your continuous interventions are not helping at that particular moment. And you have other students to attend to. What are the best ways that you can help manage the situation so that, there are other students who maybe even be cheering? Maybe this teacher, it's become that the child is now maybe too loud than the teacher. There could be, in other classrooms, let me say, naughty classroom, others will be cheering. Now, in the same classroom, there are others that will be like, how can you do that? And so they are there waiting to see how the teacher is going to react to such a situation. So just briefly.
Okay, I've had such scenarios in class, and I think from what I have come to learn is before you start your lesson, there are certain guidelines that you must communicate effectively, because our biggest problem is communication. How do we communicate what we expect of the learners? Are the guidelines clear? Do they know what we should expect them of, or what we expect during that particular lesson? And you have a lesson of 40 minutes, right? At the beginning, at the introduction, you need to have a connection. Probably I do a lot of gamified learning, and I integrate that in my language classes. So that gives me it helps me create a very conducive environment, because now we are connecting, we are happy, and if anyone is not happy, then at that particular moment, I'll be very quick to notice that there's something wrong with probably Mary or Jen. And she mentioned about teaching in a mixed classroom. I teach in a purely it's a girl classroom,
Mhm.
and the dynamics are a bit very different because you will notice most of the girls really shy away from talking about their problems, and they get too emotional.
Mhm.
We're lucky to have a counselor at the school, and whenever we feel probably you need some help, she's always there to help. So that also helps to bring in that idea of just trying to help the situation
Mhm.
in classroom. And as you teach, are you integrating these aspects of being trauma aware? Are you calling out names? Are you labeling students? Because there are certain learners who have really developed this. It's some sort of defense mechanism
Mm.
because they know they have been labeled as this,
yeah.
right? So they will try and play the part. So if they know that this is rude, I know most of the time, when teachers are having a conversation,
Mhm.
you'll hear, so and so, when you're talking about a particular student, everyone will be like, that kid has a particular problem, or don't even tell me about that one, because there is a pattern that they have shown. Now, when I'm coming to class and there is such a learner, do I continue to teach just the way I usually do, or I try to form something with the learner? Ask, how are you doing today?
Mhm.
Today you're looking very excited. What are you looking forward to?
Mhm.
Yeah, that way they'll tell you, I'm really probably, if you're learning about the parts of speech, probably nouns, I discovered a particular name, and I'm very curious to know what is it about. They usually have pick out the very crazy names, and as a teacher, you will have to redirect now their energy into something very constructive. When it's getting to levels where you can't really control the class, give the learners some assignments, and then you can single out that particular learner, then have a conversation with them. If they really need some time off, you could allow them some time to sit out. We have created some spaces in school ourselves, but this is mainly now on the counselor's part. Yeah, it's a routine that we're trying to build, because things can get overwhelming sometimes, even for the learners.
Can I just ask?
Sure.
You've created spaces for learners who may feel like they're overwhelmed, so they can take a break and come back.
Yes,
Oh,
sure.
that's interesting.
It's,
I think it's something that we should all pick, because the normal teacher classroom, I'm the authority,
Yeah.
and the lesson is 40 minutes, and you need to sit in class for 40 minutes. But now here is a different dynamic where there is a safe space for them that they can go and rejuvenate. That's interesting.
Yes, and it comes from the routines that you create. Because how do you even organize your class? All right? Because do you have a safe space, probably a corner where when someone feels overwhelmed, they could probably go there, sit. If someone is not very comfortable sitting down, do you allow them probably to stand? Okay. This way, the learners don't feel you're giving them options, unlike the idea of do this,
You
do
have
this,
to
do
sit.
this. Yeah.
It's the lesson, you have to sit.
Yes. So give them options so that they know that I don't have to learn all the time when I'm seated. If I'm not so comfortable like this, I could always find a way to get comfortable and learn. And learning takes place. I know.
Who said we need to learn while seated?
Yes.
Looking at it at Emmanuel's angle, who said that we need to learn while seated? We can learn by playing.
Games. I love games. I love games a
Even
lot.
taking them to the field. I'm imagining you're teaching adjectives. Maybe you tell them, run from this point to this point, you pick an adjective, and then you see if they've picked the adjective or not, isn't it? Run, if you reach that corner, maybe form a sentence, pick an adjective and make a sentence, run and burst a balloon. It's still learning.
Very true.
We need to change a lot of things.
We need to rethink and redo a lot of the approaches that we are having in class. So I know for a teacher, especially a young teacher, I know coming into teaching, it was not so easy adapting to the routine and all that. And I am always out on the lookout. I'm on the lookout for things that can really make my class exciting. Because if we are learning, we're excited, we are happy, then
Easy to control.
yes, it's very easy. Give roles to specific learners, especially those that are challenging. Give them roles. Let them lead a particular group. Let them now come up with the rules. If you involve them in coming up with the class norms, then it's very difficult for them to go against what they
make.
So I think that works.
That's really great. Let's also hear how Anne will manage such a classroom so that we combine all these information together.
Yeah, as Emmanuel said, I'm very happy you're having this conversation, because that option of having a counselor is really helping. Someone who is a professional counselor in schools will really help, especially with a bit older learners, adolescents, teenagers. That will really come in handy. Also, what I found coming in handy is being able to regulate your behavior as a teacher, because sometimes the disruptive behavior can get into you. And sometimes it's not even disruptive behavior. Maybe you could have a medical emergency. You really need to know what to do. You can prepare these learners in case we have this emergency. What do we do? I remember once we had this climate where it's very cold, and a learner, I had taught this learner, he had proceeded to grade 4, and I was back to grade 1, and I found him outside as I was taking the learners for lunch, and he was having a severe asthmatic attack. I had to leave my classroom, organize for a driver, rush these kids to the nearest hospital, and we got there on time, and there was an intervention. So my learners had learned so that I was taking care of a student, and they took themselves out for lunch. And I came back to school and I found that they had taken care of themselves. They knew how to act at that moment. They just let me handle this student, rush him to hospital. So the teacher really needs to be very, very calm, know what to do, prepare the learners what to do, because disruptive behavior might not necessarily mean a discipline issue. It can be anything from an emergency, even in the school. How do you prepare these learners to act? Maybe someone has gotten into trouble and you're not there. That means the fellow learners have to come in and help this learner. So once you model this behavior, it rubs off on the students. On discipline issues, I would say it's very good to find out what is happening, find out what is an alternative, varying the learning approaches. For example, second term is a very long term. You really need to vary the learning approaches. That's why you see all the school trips are planned in second term. Yes. Have these learners have outdoor activities, vary the activities. Maybe you could partner up with the other teacher of the same stream and do an activity together with the other class. That way, these learners, you'll find that some of these discipline problems will go away.
Because the learners, for sure, they have energy.
They
have a lot of energy that if we don't utilize well, they bring it back. They use it on us in the classroom.
It's
so
true.
it's true what you've said.
Yeah.
And as you've said, second term is normally the longest term. So if it's just lecture or just class pen and the book, I think it becomes too boring. So we need to give them a space where they're going to use that energy. But I also love what you two have brought forward on the having professional counselor in school. Because I think most of our schools lack professional counselors.
Very true.
And so administrators, school administrators, you need to work on this, make sure that at least there is a professional counselor. They will also help teachers in managing their classrooms, because there are certain behaviors that they may go beyond the teacher and might need maybe a follow-up. For example, you started a counseling with a student and then you're not consistent because of your other duties of care in the school. So if we have someone there who is professional and can walk this learner, I think the learners will even feel like they're valued and their needs are met. And another thing, this one now is to teachers. Walimu, let's rethink of what we are doing within our 5 minutes of the lesson. And I just loved how Emmanuel picked it up. Like, connect with your learners. Don't just go there and write the date on the board and the topic, and then you ask them, what did we learn last? They're already bored. Connect with them. It's a way that learners will know and you'll get them into readiness of learning. And it's true that learners, when they like the teacher, you don't disturb the person you like.
No.
A number of times. We don't disturb the people that we like. So when learners like you and they find your lessons interesting, they'll always be looking forward to that lesson.
Very true.
Make your 5 minutes of that class, the first 5 minutes count. So that's really, really quite detailed explanation on how we can handle certain behaviors. And so what Anne said, let's prepare them even for, we're teaching them to be responsible. I think
Very true.
responsibility is also
Empowering
a key value that we're instilling in them at a younger stage. So let it not be like the teacher has to be there for the class to be quiet or for the class to be organized, because classroom management is not just during the lesson. Even while you are away, and there are circumstances that can force the teacher to be away.
Very true.
I'm in a class, and then maybe I become unconscious. How will my learners behave? Will they use that opportunity now to maybe do their own things? No. A responsible class will be able to organize themselves, see who is going to maybe call for help. It's sometimes you always feel like it's the students maybe getting into these things, maybe attacks and all that. But what can the students do in case such a thing is now happening to a teacher? It's always good that we also train them, as Anne has given us a very perfect life scenario or real scenario of whatever happened to her. We know that most of the time we are discouraged to leave the learners alone. But what if then there is that serious need, So, and that serious need, it can only, the lesson and your class can also just remain organized if you've already trained them. If you've not trained them, I'm telling you, and you will come back and maybe you get your letter.
Dismissal.
Dismissal. Or maybe a warning letter. Or maybe you'll even find you are there. They just want to arrest you because maybe something big has happened. You've not trained these learners. Because we also know what can happen in a class when we are away.
Very
and
true.
When timetable dictates that it is Miss Anne in class, then anything that happens is on
you're
you.
responsible.
But when we train them well, they will be able to manage themselves and we can curb those certain things. Now that Emmanuel mentioned what we do in the first 5 minutes of the lesson, as you introduce and how it can help in management. I'm now just interested in how do we end the lessons also, because in the lesson we always have the introduction and the conclusion.
Yes, very true.
I just want to see is there a way that we can say that the way we conclude the lesson can also help to manage behaviors. I'm interested in this. Is it or because what I see normally, tuseme tu kweli, we are just here to enlighten each other. Most of the time, we even wrap the lesson unaware. The other teacher is already there. The teacher is walking in, or is giving you an alert that I am here. And then you say, okay, let's meet next time. You see, you've not given this learner something even to look forward to. So maybe they're just looking at how they're going. When we don't give them something to look forward to, they will create that thing for us. And when they create it for us, it might not be really pleasant to us, isn't it? So, or maybe sometimes we just repeat the homework. And this thing they don't want to hear, to be truthful. Learners do not want to hear about homework. So how do we use also the last 5 minutes to make sure that it will still instill certain behaviors in learners that will help us in managing behaviors or curbing misbehaviors or indiscipline cases? And
I think a good way would be to reflect on the lesson, or maybe even have a reflection session at the end of the week. And you can also do this even as a group, like have grade 1, 2, and 3, or maybe have the class and tell them, we have seen an improvement on this, and these ones did well, these ones have improved, and like recognize their efforts. And next time we'll work on this, and have something to look forward to. Yes.
Okay.
Just to chip in, as you leave the lesson as an educator, have you achieved the objective of that particular lesson? Because there's a particular there's a chart called the KWL chart where the teachers, the learners during the lesson, the learners as you begin, they tell you what they know, what they wonder, or what they wonder, or what they would want to know. And then at the end of the lesson, we have what we have learned. So the first two are filled during the lesson. Then the last bit, which is what have I learned, comes at the end. So these learners, again, the activities that you're using to teach, are you like, is your lesson an activity-based lesson? Because with this energy, they need something to do. So that particular activity that you have left at for the last bit of the lesson, they will always be looking forward to, because I have learned this. And you give them a chance to share what they have learned. We usually have a target for how our lesson plan is structured. We have a target at the beginning of the lesson. And it usually has the I can be able to. So at the end of the lesson, am I able to? Okay. So you give them a chance to think, pair, and share. Again, these total participatory techniques are very important because now it gives the learners diverse approaches to how they are learning. So as they share with their peers, again, something new comes up. And again, during that time, I have learned this and this and this and this. Their minds are already coming to a conclusion that, okay, the lesson is coming to an end, and I intended to learn this and this and this, and I have actually achieved it. So as you leave, tell them, next time we'll be looking at this and this and this. Probably if you're leaving them with an exercise, leave them with something exciting. Tell them, tell them the next time, if try and include storytelling, include aspects of even the idea of games. So and so is going to start us off in the next class with this particular game. So prepare. That way, they're always eager, looking forward to the next next lesson. And again, it prepares them. You have wound them down to the idea that our lesson is coming to an end, and prepare for what is coming next. Do we really give them time to shift from one? I know it's usually English is done, so it's time for mathematics. So it's a matter of exchanging. The teacher coming in next really will have to do something to create this, to bridge this turnover or transition. If I just come in and all I want to do is to get serious, we know teachers, especially the math and sciences, they get very serious. The learner hasn't adjusted to how you're approaching that particular lesson.
Especially when you're following English, and you see English teachers are storytellers.
It's so
English teachers are storytellers.
You have to teach a particular concept, and probably you need a good chunk of time. But the learners, if you don't bring them in, if you don't include them or connect with them, then most of what you're doing is going to go to waste.
But there is this concern about learners who rarely complete their work. I don't know whether it's now you to tell me, is it also part of discipline case? Because most of the time what I've seen is that a number of times teachers look at it as an indiscipline case. And sometimes I sit and think about these learners and, I just wonder, why would you think of such as an indiscipline case where maybe this learner just did not understand the concept. But a number of times you'll get the explanation from the teacher's perspective that, no, this learner was just telling stories to the other. How can we help teachers help these learners or manage these learners who frequently do not complete their work or the tasks given? How can we just help them? Because I know they are there, a number of them.
Always.
Yeah. What are your take? Or what are your advice to these teachers and the learners?
I would ask the teachers to be a little bit patient, because sometimes their circumstances are that beyond, but still there's a way the teacher can instill in this learner that this extended work is to check whether you've gotten the concepts. So sometimes they might fail to finish because they did not understand the concept, and that's where we have remedial lessons, where the teacher sits down with the learners and goes back again, teaches the lesson again, and ensures that these learners get the concept.
And there is something that I love. The extended assignment is to check whether you've understood the concept.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Because a number of them feel like, Miss, I have finished your work. That's what they say. Miss, I have finished your work. But if we explain to them that, I just want to understand if you've understood the concept, and I think they will feel like you are so much concerned, isn't it?
Yes.
And that one is really standing out.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then, what did I want to say? And also, this extended homework is sent to the parents for the learners to do with the parents at home. It's part of parental engagement in the new curriculum-based education, the curriculum-based curriculum, so that the parent knows that they have a role to play in this implementation of the new curriculum. The parent has to be kept in the loop of what this learner is learning in school and their role in ensuring that this learner gets a quality education. So it also has a role with the parent back at home.
And it also strengthens the bond between even the teacher and the student, because they know my parent knows what I'm doing.
Yes.
So if I don't do, the teacher will communicate.
Yes.
To the parent. I think an approach that has worked is, for me, is differentiated learning, because we all learn differently. Yeah. If I'm able to know that this particular learner is a visual learner, then I'm able to tailor my particular lesson to fit that particular learner, such that, because it's all about inclusion, everyone has to be included within the same classroom to achieve the same goal. So I know this learner probably, as you said, they didn't complete their homework because they were telling stories to another. Why can't I give this learner an assignment about, create a story about probably what we're learning, use these particular words, and then you're going to share it to me, right? That way I'm tapping in to what they like, right? And if I know this particular learner loves drawing, coloring, why can't I give them pictures? Tell them, you can color this. Let me see. If it is, can you tell a story using these pictures that we about what we are learning today? Can you show me that you have understood? Can you try to explain to me in your own words? This way, you're giving the learner, because I have dealt with learners who are dyslexic, and there are many other conditions that come in a normal classroom. And a teacher, if you're not really aware that this particular learner has this particular condition, then you might just keep on pressing the same button every other day.
And getting frustrated.
Yes, you get frustrated. So how do you differentiate your learning? How are you able to cater for all the levels of learning? There are those that can work in groups. Why don't you put them in groups? There are those that probably within those groups, they can do something extra. Because we have the very fast learners, and most teachers don't actually recognize that as a challenge, because we have the very smart learners who are very quick to grasp concepts. Most of the time they're left hanging because the teacher now, because you have understood the concept, that's good. They keep they change or shift their focus to now
and then they
the
say,
time takers.
Now you finished, you're disturbing the rest.
Why can't you give?
The administration will get.
Yes.
He finishes his work so fast and then he starts disturbing the rest. Why can't we give them that extra work?
Yes, give them even, there is the peer teaching.
Yes.
Tell him to probably explain it to the rest. Because now that way you're keeping him engaged, him or her engaged, as well as they are very beneficial to the peers. There's a way the fellow student will say something and you will understand it even better than the way the teacher is saying it. So that way, you have differentiated your learning or your teaching within the class. And at the end of the day, you have achieved the objective that you wanted achieved.
And we agree that if you keep pressing the same button, the learners also get bored with you, and they always think that you pick on them. Now, imagine a learner telling you as a teacher that, Mister, you always pick on me. Yeah? You always just think I am the problem. So what do you do in such a situation? How will you help such a learner without using words? As a teacher, a learner feels that you are always on his or her case, and you want to help this learner without using the word, because I know it's easier to tell them, no, it's not like that. I like all of you, I love all of you, and you're all doing well. We don't want to use words. Now, how do you act as a teacher that will make this learner get satisfied that indeed the teacher does not just pick on me, there is something?
Most of the time, or all the time, it's about communication. And we usually think we know, or think that we are communicating, but in the real sense, we are just probably just speaking and uttering instructions to these learners. Do they understand? I will go back to what I had said earlier, the objectives and what is expected of them. Because if we have laid out together the norms, this and this and this and this, so can we have something like a post-mortem? Whenever something happens, we are able to talk about it. You're mentioning that we should really not, we are not telling them that they are on the wrong, right? Can we show them that whatever is happening is against what we had discussed? And most of our learners, by the way, these days ask why.
Why?
Yeah. So you're telling
They're very
them,
curious.
sit down.
Even in the mistakes they've made, they want to know why you think it's a mistake.
Yeah. You tell them to sit down and they ask you why. I can do this standing. And you have to, you really have to communicate it to them that if probably we are writing and you're standing, you will not probably write neatly because now the posture does not allow you. Yes. So this way, you're communicating to them the why. And
actually, they will see the difference when they're writing while standing and writing while seated.
Very practical. So it's not really about, you keep doing this all the time. So you become now a nag to them. You're always finding faults, even on days that you're just coming to probably see just something that is probably nice. They will always, they know an attitude has already come up. Again, as teachers ourselves, do we realize our traumas? Do we realize that it is very easy to transfer because there's what we call transference. You have issues at home and there's that learner that in your head you have labeled probably as very rude. So every other day you come in the morning, you had something happening at home or along the way there's the road rage and all, because everyone is going through something. Are you aware of what you're going through? And as you come in, do you transfer the same to the learners? If you're conscious that I might be going or I might be dealing with something and you are very intentional about dealing with it, then you're not only helping the learners or yourself, or you're not only helping yourself, but also the learners. Yeah. That way, my problems, I'm able to deal with them. And if I can show you that I can deal with my problems, then that gives you hope that also in your situations, you can always conquer. So I think as teachers, it is very important that we are aware or conscious of our traumatic experiences, even from the past. And there's the idea of, as I have mentioned, we have what we call personality traits. We keep saying, "Uyo anakuanga hivyo." But are we supposed to be okay with it that huyu anakuanga hivyo?
Anakuanga hivyo, yeah.
This person probably needs help. And
actually they do, because school is there to help them.
Yes.
That's number one role of a school anyway, is that we need to help them.
Yeah. So from the moment of personality traits, it becomes now a family thing, and then it becomes a culture where we now say, hiyo usiguze, inakuanga tu hivyo. Even as you're coming in as a new teacher, because you have conversations, hey, umeonaje huyu? And then because you're new, you have a very positive mindset on everyone. There's that approach where everyone is good, which is the right thing actually, because thinking positive about everyone is actually, you're giving them a chance to express their true self. But if you already have something predetermined, if probably you hadn't met me, and someone told you that guy is usually like this, so you'll always be looking for that.
They're like, why are you not showing what I was told
I'm really
about
waiting
you?
for this. So you're not giving the child a chance to really become themselves, to really show you that this is who I am. And this labeling came as a result of probably just one situation or a couple that also came from something that was happening, probably not here in school, but
place.
at home. Yeah. So it's important that let us be aware of what we're going through, deal with it consciously, and then as we go to class, we are clean, we are sober, and we are able to give our best.
Oh, thank you for that broad explanation. And you have something to add on that?
Personally, I've found that it's very good to be very self-aware as an educator when dealing with learners. Remember, we are mentoring them, we are shaping them to be people of purpose in the future. And something you say to this student will stick with them. I remember something very negative my grade 6 teacher told me when I was back in school. It has never left my mind. I also remember the very positive things that I was told by another grade 6 teacher in the same class, in the same school. I still remember her up to date. And so you see these things that teachers say really impact the learners. So as an educator, I would look at it like, am I responding or am I reacting?
Very true.
I think it's good for us as teachers, as Emmanuel has said, to be very aware of our emotions, how we are dealing with these learners. At the end of the day, we are still human. We are not perfect, but we should try the best to be good role models to these learners. Remember, we spend most of the hours with these learners, even more time than they spend with their parents.
Sure.
Yes. And some of them are stuck with us, especially in the lower grades. They're stuck with us like for 3 or 4 years. You're their teacher. They have no escape. So you really have to be a positive influence. Let them remember you. And at the same time, not watering down the educational quality. That's what I would say.
Wow. So teachers, we are role models, we are mediators, we help them even solve conflict. And because sometimes there are students who are behaving the way they're behaving because they're having even personal conflicts, self to self, self versus self. Maybe like I don't do this well, and they're struggling to do it well, and they still feel they're not doing well. So we are their mediators, we are their agents of change, we are their link to the society with them. So let's now look at this as the last question for this discussion, the parent involvement. How do we deal with, sometimes you have issues with even the learners, you're trying to instill those good behaviors, and then you feel like I need to bring on board the parents, as Anne started at the beginning, maybe she called the dads and all that. Sometimes we also go that direction. We've tried all the interventions to help this learner replicate the good habits that we want them to get, but they're still not showing any progress, and we want intervention. So we bring the parents on board. So sometimes even the parents are the ones even bringing such cases, isn't it? And when they come when they are very furious. So how do we handle confrontations with the parents without affecting the learner's growth? Because I've seen also this happening, that because maybe a parent is always inquiring so much about the learner, or is always very, which word can I use? Some of them are very,
They're toe to toe. Oh.
yeah, they're very tough, and when they come, they also don't know how to address you well. And you feel like the parent is just always on your case, the way the student feels you're on their cases. So how do you deal with such a situation amicably without affecting the student's growth as a teacher?
Again, starting, I think as parents, we need to be very intentional about our involvement with our learners, because there are cases where the parent comes at night when the child is asleep, and then they leave very early when the learner is not. So most of the time they're reacting to, wow, you failed, because they haven't noticed the pattern probably that something has been going wrong. So that moment strikes them, and they are coming to you, they are enraged.
And they're telling you how they know they're their students. My child cannot get me.
My child
Yet
cannot
they've
get
never been in the picture of the child.
We have the concept of diaries, and because it's supposed to be a communication link between the teacher and the parent. But how many times do parents really look at the diaries, probably give a comment about what is happening? Have they gone through it? And there's a parent who usually in my class, before we had a conversation, she used to get the diary on a Friday, and she would sign Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that is just a formality. You're not being very intentional about what is going on. The learner has no books. And again, the relationship between the parent and the learner. Some parents are very tough. I know growing up, my mom was very tough. And I remember my book was not covered, and our teacher was very strict on books being covered. So I would do the assignments, but I would not collect my book for marking or hand in my book for marking. And every other day, I used to get punished for it. Your book was, okay, looking at the work is done, but now the book is not marked. Why? Because I didn't hand it over. I know if I handed it over, the first thing I will be called for is the book is not covered. Now, I didn't know how to communicate to my parent that I needed a cover, right? Yeah. And it really took a toll on me for a whole while. I actually really dreaded that particular lesson. And it was a teacher who used to come in for several lessons. I was still in grade 2. So you find that teacher keeps coming in. So I have a number of books that are not covered. Why can the teacher really reach out to the parent? And because that way you're helping me as a learner communicate the same to the parent. And if probably there was the idea of signing the diary, and the teacher communicated on the diary that the learner does not have this, and then make a follow-up. That way, there is that the learner becomes now saved. You save the learner from everything that is going on. But again, the idea of having parental involvement is new to, especially with these learners who are going through the CBE now. And when it came up, the parents were really off in arms because why are you giving the learner homework for me to come and do? So to them it was new, and the transition wasn't really done right because now it was just, there's homework for you to help me do. We are building probably a hut, and I need, the parent is coming from work late at night probably, and now they get home. Then they're told, I need a manila paper, I need this, I need this, I need this. So to them, it becomes frustrating. I thought this was supposed to be happening in schools. Now you're bringing it home for me to do it. The transition wasn't done right. But again, the teacher, the parent is not really coming to school to come and really understand their role in all this. When you come to school, it's not about complaining. Can we come and communicate? Can we come to an understanding of why this is important to the learner and to both of us. Because that way, if you have helped the learner in probably doing something, as a parent, you know their abilities, you know what they really love. That particular moment as you do it, it also gives you a chance to bond with your learner. Coming to school, the parent comes to school, they're enriched, they want to find a solution at that very moment, but it's not something that you just click and it's done. It's a process. It's a process,
So the
especially
teacher has to make them understand it's a process.
yes. Let us have a sit down and agree. This is what is missing. This is what is missing. This learner probably, you can have a one-on-one session with the parent without the learner, and then have another one with the learner, which however you decide to start it. But everyone is involved because now the learner is able to share now whatever is happening. Of course, there is that which you as a teacher, you have noted down in the probably at that particular moment, the learner is not going to mention it because of how they know the parent is going to react. But the moment they have this time to express themselves and say, my problem is probably I can't seem to understand math. It's really a challenge. You have the performance. Now, when you let the learner go, now you have a one-on-one session with the parent. Talk, tackle, don't fight the person, fight the issue. The issue here is learner performance and what is happening around this, what is causing all this. If it requires you to make a follow-up, which is very important every other day, because some parents just come to school at the beginning of the term when they're bringing the learner, and then at the end of the term. In between here, I have never talked to you. We have never communicated. You have never made an effort to really know what is happening with the learner's life. So I think the process of coming to a solution, it takes time, but it should be very intentional. Both parties should be involved. It's not, because as a teacher, if I keep pushing and I realize you're not really involved, I get tired. And I might decide, okay, let me focus with the ones, because it's easier. I have so many things to do at the end of the day. It's easier for me, for that parent who's always checking in, unlike the one that I really have to follow every other time. Yeah, it is a collaborative effort.
Thank you. Your take on that?
My take is that education is a community effort. And once these parents bring their children to school, it is the administration, the teachers, and the parents coming together, have some days. There's a school calendar where the parents at least should come to school at least once a term, discuss these issues with the teachers, with the school administration, iron out any issues, so that every part of the team knows what their expectations are and where they can help each other. Yes.
And so in situation where a parent is already there boiling and, you know, so how do we deal with that without hindering the child's growth?
Well, I think now that one, it has to be handled at an individual level, because now this is one parent who is boiling, and they can discuss and find out, why are you so mad about this? What happened? Come up with a solution, and then make this parent understand that this needs to be done as it's a collective effort. The school, the administration, and the teacher, and work out the issue. Yes.
And also sometimes don't look like you're on the defensive side, because I think that also irritates them and makes, when somebody is already so mad about a situation, the best that you can also do is listen.
Yes,
just
true.
Listen from the heart to understand where they're coming from, because your response may just bring a lot of issues. But I think the best, also the other approach that we can give is, let's do all that it takes to prevent these things from coming. Because sometimes when they come, you see now, we may not dictate how parents would behave when they come to address us, but we can dictate it from the beginning, like how we set our rules and standards. Because even as a parent, I will get really annoyed if you come and I come from work maybe at 10 because I have to work. It's what
that's
the
what
economy
is keeping the
dictates.
kid at
Yeah?
school, yeah.
And then that's the time you are told that we need this, I need to make this, and you don't have these resources. I believe teachers, we do lesson plans, we do schemes. At our scheming stage, can we make a list of all that we need?
Exactly.
Because also kids, when they feel like you come to punish them for not doing work when it is not their fault, it is the parents' fault to provide for that.
For them,
or you give homework and the child does not have a textbook and you don't care. You see, this child will not do it and you'll still get irritated and you'll pick it as a behavior issues when ideally it is not. Let us put our things clear. All that we need, just make it clear. This is what we need to do. In our school, it's the school where I'm working, we do weekly topic outline. Where you send, you can send it on Sunday or on Monday, but we encourage Sundays so that the parent is already in the picture of what is needed in the whole of the week and also the expectations. So you see, that one is easier for them. As teachers, also another way that we can help do this is give the learners the topics for the term. Because we've already skimmed, when they have the topics for the term, tell them even the requirements, tell them even which ones will require experiments, which experiments you will do. Like engage them, let them have something even to be part of the entire thing. So they know from this one, we are going to this one. Not like it's the lesson, you ambush them. And then you realize they do not have geometrical sets. And then you send them outside to go look for. Now, where in the school, they don't have money even to buy. The school is not selling. You want them to go interrupt another lesson. That all those things will just lead to these behavior issues, isn't it? So as teachers, number one way to curb classroom indiscipline cases or things that might disrupt the lesson that we might feel offended is proper planning on our end. And proper communication with the parent. Let's have timely communication. If you're not doing a weekly plan or even monthly plan, please start doing it in your school so that the parents are already aware. And then you send a reminder. Please, let's also not say we've already sent. We've done our part. Our job is also to send those constant reminders. I think we normally forget that. Send constant reminders to these parents, even to the kids. And as Emmanuel gave his own personal experience. You can imagine you're sending this information through the child. The child is already even having issues with the parent. They cannot even, she can't even withstand the parent being there. And, you as a teacher also communicate. Don't just say, but I told the student, I told your child. So we need to develop that and let's communicate promptly to these parents. We will avoid parents coming with several issues. We'll even avoid issues with the students. There was the aspect of labeling. When they already know this is who I am, they will not change. So let's just do all that it takes from us. Let me get your parting shot as we end the show.
Actually, I was very amused with your last statement. We've been seeing the TikTok trends. Parents receiving notes.
Yes.
There's no school tomorrow and she's already sending the child outside the door. I was discussing with a colleague and she's so upset she had to cough up 60,000 for a Mombasa trip last month. It's like this thing should have been planned in January.
Yes.
You should have been notified so that I put this money aside. And that means that we really have to improve communication between the parents, the teachers. Yeah.
And when you don't plan well, then the parents, they always have that, parent-child talks, and they'll definitely be talking about how disorganized your teacher is. And then you expect this child to come to school and
listen to you
as an organized person,
Sure. Because honestly, again, what most parents don't realize, or probably they're just oblivious of, is that the conversations they have at home about teachers, the learners, the teachers they always come, because now you notice this learner was very excited. All of a sudden, they have an attitude. because probably something was said at home. And because now they take their parents as authority figures, right? Who else would I rather believe if not my mom or my dad? Yeah. So if you're told, huyo mwalimu hata ananichosha kila siku anakuanga na hii na hii na
Ama
hii.
she always doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, she does not even understand.
Yeah.
Mutual respect.
Yeah. There is that aspect. So we are planting a seed in the learner. So as the learner comes, because growing up, every child is very excited about their teacher. There is a way. I remember a niece of mine. I was trying to help with some math. I'm not so good, but there is the simple concepts. I'm coming up with a new formula, and she's like, my teacher didn't say that. So they believe my formula is not wrong. It works. But now what the teacher said. So imagine if I went ahead and told that the girl, huyo teacher wenu hata haelewi anafanya nini. Already they have that trust that we have built together. So going back to school, everything the teacher says is under scrutiny because niliambiwa they don't understand. Yeah. So as parents, we need to be conscious when we are talking about our school environment. Can we be positive? If there are things that we need to handle with, let us handle the issues properly with the right parties. Don't sort them with the students because you don't have the entire information. Learners can come home because they know how you react. They will try and twist the story to a way
give
that
you the message that you want to hear.
Yes, you want to hear. So probably there's a learner who comes. The note they had probably was a week ago, but they put it in their bag.
Yeah.
Because the routine is normal. I come home, I put my bag there, I go to sleep, wake up in the morning, pick my bag. The moment they will now notice that it's time to go for is when now everyone else is packing their bags and then they come home with the notes and you're like, ni kesho. Why didn't you tell me a while back? Now the learner probably, because of now they know how you would react. They will tell you, tulipatiwa leo or sijui nilikuwa. Again, communication, if we're able to keep that line. And I like the idea of this, the WhatsApp, where we can have notifications from time to time. Parents can follow up on what is happening. It keeps the channel very, very smooth.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think overall, it's mostly about communication, mostly about intentionality and consciousness. Are we conscious about everything? Because there are certain things that you just see, but you don't really notice. Yeah. There are patterns that you see. And they start, some behaviors start at home. If I can do this to mom, then and she's okay with it, then if I come to school and I can do it. And we have created the idea of school being some form of prison. If we maintained the same standards at home and at school, then the learner really has nowhere to lag. If they know this is what I'm expected of in school, this is what I'm expected of at home, it's the same thing. I don't have to, like in school I have to be really hardworking. When I come home I can be lazy. If we are able to maintain that I know, this is who I'm supposed to be. It's not how I'm supposed to act. Yeah, because that varies with different situations. If this is actually, because we're empowering them. And I'm very particular about that issue of empowerment, because I know if it's a generational thing. Coming up, we are all of a sudden we have very empowered ladies, but the boy child is not so empowered. And now I am going to marry. No one has prepared me on how to handle an empowered lady. So it becomes an issue. I can't really cope. I can't seem to understand it. But I know that is a conversation for another day. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel and Anne, for making time for this discussion. It's great hearing from you. The conversation was really nice, and I believe that it's helpful. Just to summarize, classroom management is not just a teacher's work.
Very
It's
true.
even it comes from home setup, because the first model of education or learning starts from our homes. So parents, the conversation that you have with your children, they also translate to their academic performance, their behaviors in the classroom. So let's instill positivity at all times. Let's speak positive about the caregivers of our children, including even the households that we keep, because when a child cannot be a 3-person in one, behaving differently with the mom, behaving differently with the house help, and behaving differently in school.
Yeah.
Let's make a 1-person. And we've also seen that it's also a responsibility. A lot lies on us as teachers, especially with our planning. If we plan well and we know that, and we are also well informed of all the behaviors that might erupt in class, we'll know best how to deal with them. To our any administrator, school administrator watching this, please let's have guidance and counseling professionals in our schools. They will help a lot, because some of these learners, even they leave our institutions not fully helped. They're still living with certain things. And if we are in a position to, let's just have them so that we make sure that we holistically help these learners, because these learners may later on even become teachers. And as Emmanuel said, when they don't know how to deal with their own traumas, their own issues, they will escalate them to the rest, or they transfer them to the rest. So thank you so much for your time. Always keep it Tufunzeni, everyone, because this is the only show where you can learn anything that focuses on education. You'll get help. We bring on board very, very competent guests, and you're always free to even reach out on our YouTube channels or whatever social platform that you're using to reach to us. We are on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on LinkedIn. Please just say, can I get in touch with Anne or
Sure.
Emmanuel? We will definitely connect you to all our guests. If you need their help, they will be there to assist you. Let's make it a journey together. Let's make it Tufunzeni. Thank you so much.